The global launch of Xiaomi 13 Ultra is of course among the massive events of 2023. Is it the best smartphone out there? Let's inspect! You might have seen it already. Xiaomi 13 Ultra is something that got released in China a couple of weeks ago and now makes its way to the global market, being the second Xiaomi Ultra which is released globally after the Mi 11 Ultra, and you can see some similarities, especially about the size of the camera compartment. By the way, nice to meet you, my name is Michael. On the channel we inspect a lot of cool and interesting tech, and after the global debut of Xiaomi 13 Ultra, I believe there are some more facts that remain uncovered after you have seen the first initial coverage of the Chinese edition. So in this video, we want to address all of that. Talk about the battery life, the real-life experience, whether the camera is as good as Xiaomi promised to be, and everything meaningful and important you need to know about this flagship. I can think of only two other smartphones that Xiaomi 13 Ultra would be challenging: Samsung's Galaxy S23 Ultra and iPhone 14 Pro Max. Both cost at a similar price, so the Chinese giant may have this unique opportunity to deliver more and charge less or about the same in order to beat them. Thing is that the price of the global edition is, as expected, not at all that tempting. In terms of unboxing, the finale is a bit of a change when compared to the predecessing generations. The box looks like most other Xiaomi-made phones, and that's okay. Seeing bulkiness means that there likely is a power adapter included. The finale is a different type of a case, but zero creativity about the design, and I can't say that the material is anything close to impressive. Still, having some kind of protection is better than none. Here's the phone. It looks more like a camera as opposed to a smartphone, and Xiaomi underlined this fact even further with the extra camera kit accessory that has been announced for some of the regions. Splendid Design, everything shines and it's easy to call it ultra premium. The back is made of texturized plastic, meant to feel like leather, and it's a successful implementation in my opinion. It looks nice, doesn't break, and provides good grip. The back has very unusual curves. It's not entirely flat, as you can see. The camera compartment is huge, circular form where you can see the 4 cameras. Note that this big bump around the cameras is going to make it challenging to use the phone with some smartphone gimbals. Since we'll also drill down to most of the noteworthy details, let's quickly get the specs out of our way. The phone is of course powered by the most capable system on a chip this year for the Android space, has this insanely huge amount of RAM, the latest trends in terms of storage, all the popular connectivity standards are supported, has the famous 1-inch Sony image sensor for the main camera, and very promising hardware for the rest of the cameras. There's 90-watt quick charging technology and a big battery, and some modularity to enable you to turn this phone into something like a crazy good camera. Weight is a bit more than the usual though. The last time I was reviewing a Xiaomi Ultra smartphone, some people on Reddit noticed the way I hold it for the camera bump. And I still believe that the 11 Ultra feels better in the hand to be held for the bump as opposed to the 13 Ultra, but if you're looking for a camera-like grip, there is such an accessory. It's just that it costs 200 more bucks and I don't have it around in order to show you. But overall, this, in terms of hardware, is supposed to be the finest of 2023 with two minor remarks. First fact, that the camera here on the front records up to 1080p 60 frames per second, which is less than the Galaxy S23 Ultra, and also the Samsung phone has slightly higher frequency out of the system on a chip. But the rest, display, camera compartment, charging speeds, overall performance, etc., it's either up to par or better with the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. Now in this video, I really would like to dive deeper and explore each one of those components in order to figure out whether marketing has been trying to mask some imperfections or it really is that good. Let's take a look at the display features this time. This panel is created by Xiaomi and TCL. It is called the C7 and is different to the popular Samsung-made flagship called E6 and featured with the Xiaomi 13 Pro. The battle there is quite fierce, with the TCL-made screen promising higher peak brightness, better viewing angles and more optimal power consumption, while I find the colors and everything about the display being great. I'm not quite sure that the initial software tuning lets it reveal its full potential, because I still prefer the Galaxy S23 color tuning and felt more comfortable using it outdoors at direct sunlight. The 13 Ultra has really stunning colors and a few modes that you can choose from, so you can adapt it to the color science that you prefer. Since the display is very fresh on the market, keep in mind that over time, Xiaomi will most likely enhance the experience, because at the time of making the video, there are some sources sharing alarming results, especially about power consumption, but besides that, you're gonna find a lot more positives. Therefore, the playback of videos feels superb, gameplay as well. Weirdly, with the initial global software version, the refresh rate is locked at 60 Hz to some games. I really hope this is going up to 120 Hz by the time you watch this review. Now, the cameras. I'll try to keep it simple here and make it very clear by saying that from a 0.5 up to a 9 or 10 times zoom, this is the most capable hardware ever integrated on a smartphone. And yes, it is superior to the hardware that is used with the Galaxy S23 Ultra. And using this camera with the smartphone app is a pleasure, at least most times. Let me start with the good. Taking photos is a pleasure. The Leica color science lets you choose between Leica Vibrant, which is what most of you are going to prefer because, besides being more vibrant, it has the more eye-pleasing exposure and contrast, and Leica Authentic, which is more natural. You have 4 different cameras: the ultra-wide, marked as 0.5 zoom, the main camera, which has the same image sensor as the Xiaomi 13 Pro, but here it arrives with a variable aperture, and there are 2 zoom cameras, the 3.2 times zoom and the 5 times zoom. An interesting fact is that the ultra-wide and the telephoto cameras are all using a new Sony image sensor, which promises some groundbreaking features which make it one of the best for low-light photography without any doubt. It takes the night shots to the ultimate heights. The sensor is 50 megapixels and supports a new generation of ultra-low power camera modes. It makes the sensor perform well while saving battery life. Additionally, Xiaomi are pairing these sensors with fast aperture optics, and the results are better than expected. In terms of video, this phone goes even further. Finally, Xiaomi are adding 24 frames per second recording. The shape of the camera compartment on the rear is not randomly chosen. There's an accessory which converts it into a pocket camera where you can screw ND filters, or if you want to go cheap like me, get a 67mm ND filter, use hot glue gun, and achieve pretty much the same effect. The ND filter option is going to for sure attract professionals, and especially with video, you could produce some professional-grade content. Stellar stabilization, astonishing colors, fast autofocus, there's even a log mode, and of course the ability to follow the 180-degree shutter rule, which for the first time with the phone is actually easy to follow. The not-so-good part about the camera experience is, in my opinion, the software. The MIUI camera app has been updated and the new interface is really great. But here we talk about 2 features in particular which I find very irritating. The first one would be the automatic switching between the cameras should you try to get closer to an object, and sometimes it drives me nuts, and this is why I find myself using the Pro mode a lot more often, because over there you can lock the camera to be using one of the particular sensors. Secondly, I continue to not understand why Xiaomi have only a zoomed portrait mode. They use a telephoto camera in combination with the main camera in order to produce natural bokeh. And while it's admirable, I really miss the option to make portrait shots the simple way, like captured with a Galaxy or a Pixel phone, where the blur is based on a software algorithm. While some of the portrait shots look stunning, if the subjects that you film are moving, they might turn out blurry. The photo editor app is also something Xiaomi may try to enhance further. Yes, it's rocking some amazing features like the AI object removal, but Samsung have recently stepped up their game, so let's hope Xiaomi will try to match that too. The front camera is the big question mark. Video resolution remains cropped at 1080p. If primarily the camera is used for photos, then the 32MB capacity with HDR looks fine. If video is a priority, you don't have the ability to shoot in 4K. Bottom line, with exception for the selfie camera, in terms of RAW performance, Xiaomi 13 Ultra camera is spectacular. There are some things to improve on the software side, and it will for sure get a lot better over time, because most hardware pieces are quite new, and Xiaomi will have the chance to extract more with the right updates. Going further, and there are of course other reasons to like the new 13 Ultra, the battery is big and fully recharges within just 35 minutes. Wireless charging is also present. A fun fact, the reverse wireless charging on this phone is quicker than the maximum wireless charging capacity on the Google Pixel 7a. Chinese brands are in their own league about battery management and charging, but the software seems to let the phone consume a bit more than usual, and in the long run, despite the widely advertised Surge co-processor for power management, Xiaomi 13 Ultra has given me rather average results with less screen-on time and standby time than what the latest Galaxy phones provide. It is better than the Pixels, though. Cool feature is the Auto Power Emergency mode. When the charge is down to 1%, the phone automatically switches to emergency power saving mode, and it's a feature that most smartphone makers should start adopting. Here, I don't really want to bother you with too much of artificial benchmarks. Consistency is the key. Xiaomi have it with the 13 Ultra. As expected, it utilizes the best processor and GPU in the Android space for 2023. It will handle any kind of a task, and you're going to be very happy with the results. Plus, the phone wouldn't feel too hot. If you wonder about the quality of the speakers, let's test with this sample. For connectivity, the global version of the phone has a single SIM slot and an eSIM slot, and the Chinese edition relies on a dual SIM tray. Some bands used by the telecoms in the States are not present, because the phone is not officially launched in the North American region, no external storage of course, and you can well notice that the internal storage amount is very generous, and finally, we get to see USB 3.2 integration with Xiaomi Flagship. The infrared blaster is as usual here, there's NFC support and all the current wireless communication protocols. As for software, it's MIUI, Android 13 out of the box at launch, and this will be one of the devices with priority updates this year. While the operating system itself is very beautiful, highly customizable, stable from what I experienced during the testing, if you're not a fan of MIUI, you will certainly find the very same annoyances as usual, and compared to Samsung or Google, the amount and the quality of updates delivered to the Mi phones is rather vague. The Chinese giant is working hard on turning this trend around, but they don't seem to be quite there yet. If we may discuss the drawbacks, I can only point to the subpar selfie camera, the infrequent software updates, and the quite high price tag. Whether this is the best overall smartphone, only time can show. I can certainly confirm that in terms of hardware, it's way above most of the competition in 2023, but it's also a fact that in terms of software, because smartphones are hardware plus software, it offers very similar experience to what Redmi and Poco devices would bring without the bloatware and some added extras. So I really think Xiaomi are going to step up their game in terms of software updates, and in the next few months are going to provide meaningful, good, stable updates which will enhance the camera and the overall performance of Xiaomi 13 Ultra, because it is a masterpiece. But now the big question, is it out of reach being priced that expensive? Do you think most people would be ready to pay that much about a true flagship? Or you think it's just about right given all the great specs which are packed inside the smartphone? And there's a thought which in the past days is chasing me, that the perfect smartphone of the year would be the hardware of Xiaomi 13 Ultra in the shape and probably the display of Galaxy S23 Ultra, and the software which Google Pixel devices are running, that would be a dream come true to me. And maybe you can share with me, what do you think is gonna be the perfect smartphone of the year? Comments are down below, and you can also share with me your opinion about the Xiaomi 13 Ultra. And that's everything about the episode. In case you have questions, you can ask in the comment section below the video. As usual, in the description area, I'm going to put a link where you can order this smartphone from. And you're gonna find some ways to support our work here on the channel. You can start by subscribing because it comes for free. And I really look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.